Hi, welcome back. In this video, we'll cover test cases with respect to security of the system, that is, registration page in our case. I would recommend you to go through a video on security testing of our course before you see the test cases. Okay, so let's go to the test cases sheet and see what we have with respect to security testing. So the first test case is to check the URL. The protocol in the URL has to be HTTPS. So when the URL has HTTPS that is secured, we are assured that the data is transmitted over the internet safely. Okay, so it is necessary that the URL has HTTPS, especially in the beta and production version. In the local environment, if the developers gives the URL without the S in HTTP, then it is still fine. But at least it has to be HTTPS in the beta or production version when the application is given to the end users. So we need to check that. Okay. In the second test case, we check whether we are able to register with weak passwords or not. So if we are able to register with weak passwords, then it is a problem. As per example, weak passwords are 12345678 or ABCDEF or 6 times 1, or if user ID and passwords are similar. Okay, so if we allow people to register using weak passwords, then the hackers can easily gauge the password and try to hack it. Okay, but the problem is that in our problem statement we allow such passwords, so we can mention it as a suggestion and set the status as fail and tell the developers that we are allowing to register with weaker passwords. Okay, so it is the responsibility of the QA to highlight if uh, by definition, if the management allows such weak passwords, then it is fine, but it is the responsibility of the QA to highlight the same. Now the third and fourth test cases is about SQL injection and cross-site scripting respectively. Okay, so in this course, we will not cover it as it requires some advanced understanding. However, it is always better to include it in the test cases. Also, it is easy to understand and must be studied in depth. So, what is SQL injection? SQL injection is a type of attack that occurs when malicious SQL code is inserted into input fields or parameters of the web application. So, if there is a loophole in the system, someone can exploit it. That is, the hacker can add some malicious code to the input fields like user ID, password, confirm password, and so on. And it can, by this malicious code, they can also delete the database or harm the system. Okay. Then what is cross-site scripting? So cross-site scripting is also a type of attack that occurs when malicious scripts are inserted into input fields. So it can do the same kind of harm which SQL injection can do. Okay. However, we are not including about SQL injection and cross-site scripting in depth. I would recommend you to go through it or wait for the advanced QA course. Now the fifth point is to check database and make sure that the confidential information like password is stored in an encrypted format. Okay, so when we register, the data is stored in database, right? Now make sure that the confidential information like password is stored in database in an encrypted format. Okay. If the password is stored as plain text, then the developers or the database managers can easily check the database and tables and find out your password. Okay, so confidential information like credit card information or passwords or any kind of other confidential or important or critical data has to be stored in database in an encrypted format. If not, then we need to file it as a bug, set the status as fail, and tell the developers. Okay. Now the sixth point is on registration and login, inputted data should not be visible in the URL. If that happens, then it is a serious issue and should be marked as fail. So when we enter all the entries while registration and when we tap on register, in no case the data, that is user ID, password, and so on, should be visible in the URL. If you are able to see the URL and it has our password and user ID and other confidential data which we can see with our naked eyes, then it is a big issue. Then if we are able to see such things, then we should mention that in the test case and mark the status as fail and tell the developers. Okay. So from our registration point of view, we have these many security test cases. However, it is possible that we can add more to it. Okay. So this is about security testing and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.